So I've mentioned Clavicular a bunch of times on this channel and on Instagram, and I think I owe you the full honest version of that story, because the way it usually gets told online doesn't actually capture what happened. And funny enough, the real story is actually a lot more interesting than the version that gets told on social media. And honestly, I think it's a lot more useful too, because this is not a story about everything going perfectly. This is a story about building the best possible system under some genuinely brutal constraints, and about what happens to a business the moment that system gets taken away. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you the fully transparent version of that story, start to finish. So let me actually start from how we even got this deal in the first place, because that part matters and I don't think I've ever been told it properly whatsoever. So to get this deal in the first place, Clavicular's sales manager actually reached out to us originally, and it wasn't even for operating, but it was about funnels. Originally, we kind of had this funnel building agency, and Clav needed 2 funnels for his male and his female looks maxing programs. So we built both of these funnels for him, and he loved them so much that we also built him a 5K website for another endeavor that he was looking to do as well. And then because we started to hear about Clav on social media, we were working with Baby Stickley's team a little bit at that time. We had heard they were rivals. I thought it was best to maybe talk about operating for Clav. So I talked to my business partner, Benz, and Benz decided to get on a call with Clav and asked him straight up whether he had a growth operator or not. And Clav himself said he had no growth operator. So we got on this call, and it turns out that somebody else was there, and it was Clav's sales manager. But what was funny is there was kind of some miscommunication, because Clav's sales manager thought he was the operator. So after Clav left to go finish a stream, it was me and my 2 business partners, one of them being Ben's, talking with Clav's sales manager on trying to convince him to operate. But the thing was that Clav's sales manager was already doing some of the operations, and he didn't want us to come on and basically replace him. So for about 30 to 45 minutes, we were just arguing over the call that we weren't even going to take his position, we were just going to add it to the role. But he wouldn't listen to us, and he just wanted us to do the role of running Clav's ads. But we thought we shouldn't do that, because we were only going to get a rev share of the revenue generated from cold traffic. And that wouldn't make sense, because all the operations and backend was hingent upon the sales manager actually having good operations. And if he didn't, then the ads wouldn't perform, and our revenue and our share would actually tank, and the sales manager would be responsible for that. On top of that, the sales manager also said that he was getting over 30% revenue share of Clav's revenue, which was a complete lie. So long story short, we went back to Clav with a different proposal. And this proposal was consulting. So basically, we proposed to fix up everything in the sales process, the backend operations, what Clav already had right now. So we pitched Clav on about 10K to fix up all the operations and backend systems, which took a couple of weeks to fix up. And because of fixing up these backend operations, of doing such a good job with this, because of making such a good websites, really good funnels for both of Clav's offers, hiring some really killer salespeople as well, and even getting Clav's Instagram removed from being shadow banned, Clav started to gain trust. So after this consulting deal, Clav hired us full time as full growth operators. Now, before I get into what we built, I want to be really clear about what we were actually working with, because this context matters a lot. Now, overall, Clav had genuinely terrible lead quality coming in. And I'm not talking just like average bad lead quality. He had very difficult to work with leads, and he had virtually no bandwidth to record anything for us. The VSL was super difficult to record. He couldn't make any content for a second Instagram or a second YouTube channel. There was no middle of funnel content that was able to convert viewers or give them free value. There was no bottom of funnel content, and we didn't have any time to record any video ads either. So we basically had to work with what we got on the main Instagram and the main YouTube channel. All of the following he had was from the existing audience and from the streaming that he was doing full time as well. So what we had to work with was his existing audience, his organic social media content, and basically a business that had zero infrastructure at all behind it. And on top of all of that, we were fighting the same problem I described at the start of this video, which was partial control. The sales manager that Clav had, he had a completely different vision for the brand. He thought he could boss us around, and we were constantly in this triangle of he said, Clav said, we said. He would tell Clav one thing, Clav would tell us something else, the sales manager would tell us something else. It was a mess from day one. And this is exactly why I'm so firm on the point that you either have full control of the operation or you're setting yourself up for problems. Here is what we built, and I want to walk you through the exact order of it. The first thing before anything else is we rebuilt the sales process from scratch and wrote brand new SOPs for the existing team. This is the step everybody wants to skip because it does not feel exciting by any means. But there's absolutely no point in hiring more people or turning up the volume on anything if the actual process your team is running is completely broken. What's happening essentially is you would just be scaling some kind of leak. With the new SOPs covered everything. They covered from how leads came in or who picked them up in the first place, the overall outreach timeline, whatever happened on the call, what happened after the call, what happened after no show, email, follow up, etc., etc. In Clav's operations, we had every single step, every single role, and every single possible system fully documented. And once the process was solid, we built the entire backend. We built up Close CRM from scratch with custom pipelines, lead stages, custom activity, and smart views for every single rep, every single Typeform submission, every single contract that came through the door, every single payment feeding straight in automatically. We made sure in this entire operation there was no manual data entry unless it was from the post call and the post set forms after a setter booked appointment or after a call was closed by the closer. Now, the moment a lead hit the form, it was in the CRM immediately. The setter got a notification in Slack, the tracking sheet was updated, and all of it was updated simultaneously through Zapier. Now, the Slack infrastructure was built around full visibility. We had dedicated channels in Slack for every single possible function. We had money bags for new payments hitting in real time, so the whole team saw it. New applicants for every single lead coming in automatically. Closer EOD and setter EOD for end of day reports. No shows because no shows were silently killing conversions, and most businesses just let them die quietly. Daily summary report, pulling everything together automatically every single day, because when performance dropped, we saw it the same exact day, not at the end of the month when it was already too late to fix. This and a number of other things as well. And before Cloud Code was really a thing, we had Looker Studio too. We had a live Looker Studio dashboard, custom made for Clav, that connected to everything through Zapier, updating automatically through booked calls, show rate, close rate, cash collected, revenue projections, sales rep performance. All of it was done and updated to Looker Studio in live time. Now, I want to talk to you about the funnel as well. And again, I want to be specific about what we actually had to work with here, because we weren't building this thing on top of content that was ripping for middle of funnel or bottom of funnel across different channels, or with any kind of ad spend whatsoever. We were building it on top of organic traffic only. We built a VSL funnel and framer structured around Clav's ICP. These were not things we just assumed that the prospects had problems with. We actually pulled real data from what was happening on the calls and made real objection handling videos on the confirmation page and tailored the copy on the landing page to reflect what the prospects were raising on calls. We had Typeform pre-qualification after the VSL to filter out people who weren't a fit before they ever even got on the calendar. And we also had Calendly round robin distributing leads evenly across all of the closers. And again, about those objection handling videos on the confirmation page, the second somebody got on the confirmation page, they were able to get these breakout videos where they're able to see objections and hear them in real time. So by the time they got on the call with the closer, all the closer had to do was just sell them, because a decision was already made on the prospect's end. Now, I want to get to the sales team. And this is the part that I want to be really, really honest about with you, because what we built was genuinely fucking elite, and it was not easy by any means necessary. We ran something called a battle royale. We had 4 of some of the best sales managers in the info space competing against each other, each one managing their own team of reps, everyone hammering on dials, closing, and hitting KPIs daily. The leaderboard was public internally in the backend, and bonuses were also presented publicly to all of the setters and closers. Every single manager knew exactly where they stood against the other people in live time. And that competitive dynamic, when you have the right people, produces a completely different level of output than a standard setup. And even with all of that, with the best infrastructure we'd ever built on any possible offer at that time, with 4 elite sales managers competing, getting past 100K a month was genuinely really fucking hard. The lead quality was that bad. I mean, there were days where the team was doing everything right and the numbers still were not there because the top of funnel was working against us the entire time. And I just want to be fully transparent about that, because I think it's a lot more useful to you than pretending that it was some kind of smooth sale where everything went fucking great and we had made Clav so much money and printed out our asses. Anyways, we also built the full Notion SOP system, so any new rep joining us knew exactly what to do from day one. This would include things like lead flow, call booking, follow-up sequences, post-call handoffs. All of it was documented with Loom videos internally in Notion. We had a green, yellow, and red check-in system as well, running weekly across every single client and every single team member. Green means the clients were doing well internally, yellow meaning something's starting to slip, and red means it needs attention immediately. We made sure, while we could, that nothing was allowed to sit quietly and get worse. In over 2.5 to 3 months, Clav went from 18K a month to $440,000 in total revenue generated, with no ads, with no real content being recorded that much, and with terrible lead quality the entire time, as well as what I mentioned, a partial control situation that made everything a lot fucking harder than what it needed to be. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's a perfect case study, but it's what the best possible system built under real constraints actually produced. Now, I think what I'm about to tell you is actually a lot more important than the numbers I shared themselves, because in March, we stopped the offer. A huge combination of things happened at once. Clav had his new club launch, Baccarat. We had serious fulfillment issues that had been built up, some real legal concerns about what was being pushed in those offers, and still the sales teams, as elite as they were not hitting the numbers we needed them to, given the constraints we were under. under. So it was pretty much a mutual decision to shut down the offer part-time, and we both parted ways. After we left, Clav went from over $100,000 a month in his account to having a negative $18,000 WAP balance from chargebacks. Then one of my friends came in, someone who manages sales and does operations, and with him handling both, Clav got back to $18K a month. I'm not telling you that to make Clav look bad or us look really, really good. I'm just telling you that because that is what happened, and that's what the data shows. The moment the infrastructure was gone, everything that we had kind of collapsed in on itself. But the moment someone competent came back and rebuilt even a fraction of it, things began to stabilize. So what I need you to understand, aside from everything with this Clav drama, is that the system is the business. When you don't have a system, nothing can get sold and nothing can get done. And quite simply, you just can't scale because you are the bottleneck. So there's a lot of things everybody in this industry will tell you about what you need to fix. This is the problem, that is the problem. And a lot of the times they very well could be. But if you don't have a good system, then everything else is really just noise. So after everything that I've shared, that is the full story with Clavicular. We hit about $440,000 in 2.5 to 3 months. In all 5 to 6 months, we hit about $600,000 in total revenue under some of the worst constraints I've ever worked under as a growth operator. And the proof of what we built isn't just in the number we hit, but it's about what happened when we weren't there anymore. Now, I think that honest story I shared with you today is a lot more useful of a case study than what you probably hear all over social media today, because it shows you what good systems and infrastructure are actually worth. So if you're building a coaching business and you're curious what your operation would actually look like with a system like this behind it, you can book a call with me with the link in the description below. We can hop on a call and I'll tell you honestly what I look at fixing first. But that's all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.